It's Wizard Archaeus! Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. It is I, the Wizard Archaeus. Yes, I got my staff. It's a beautiful staff. I've had it for a long time. Very trusty, very powerful. A cracker skull. And of course, I got the wizard's cap. And I figured for this one, I'd wear a forest green looking shirt. The beard is standard. Trying to grow in the rest of it. I did this part for several months. Liked it, wouldn't shave it. I shaved the sides though for a while. It's cold out, so decided to try to fur it back in. So probably in a few weeks I'll have more fur everywhere. Anyway, people keep nagging the shit out of me. When's the wizard gonna do a video? When's the Wizard Archaeus gonna come back? When's the Shadow Shaman gonna return? Well, Shadow Shaman, they don't really have any immediate interest in doing that. The Shaman came and went years ago. Shaman was popular. Shaman took a lot of shit from people, mainly neo-pagans. Same thing with, everything else I did back then. And you know what really bothers me is the fact that bullies and skanks can get away with shit. Just flag people right out of existence. They don't care. You know my biggest pet peeve, I'm not going to spend much time on this, but my biggest pet peeve, men generally are stalkers. Men generally are bullies of women. Not nice, not cool, not fair. And of course, everybody's heard the horror stories on what happens when these women complain, go to the police, scream, cry, rant, rave. Sometimes the police will do something, but most times they usually don't, because proving somebody's a stalker is kind of hard unless the stalker's a real dumb fuck. But now when you got a role reversal, if you're a male who's a victim, or you're being stalked by a woman, and the woman is the bully, is the stalker, is the cyber stalker, then it's a whole new ball game, and nobody gives a shit, because the woman can lie and say, look what he did to me, or he did this to me, or he did that to me. She can totally twist everything around, and people are more inclined to believe the woman because it's a woman. It's just like, what do you hear more about? Men raping women or women raping men? Normally it's men raping women, and it's a horrible thing when it happens, but on occasion it's a woman raping a man, and then basically, men are made to look like shit, and police don't necessarily want to listen to it because they're like, oh yeah, man got raped by a woman. Ha! So, society is really fucked in the head, okay? Its priorities are really fucked. And unfortunately, there are people out there who find themselves victimized because the law is blind. It's the reason why Lady Justice has a blindfold on. And unfortunately, there's a shitload of sick, mentally incompetent people out there that know how to twist it around to their favor. So curse them to death, Stalker, stalker, I know you. Now I curse you into glue. There you go. Curse done. Move on. Anywho. So I figured I would finally get off my butt and start doing more magical videos, start doing the Wizard Archaeus thing. Right now it's approximately 6:15 in the a.m. here in Western New York. It's dark out. Thanks to daylight savings time. But slowly, day by day, night grows just a little shorter and day grows just a little longer. But also, because of the pole shift, or whatever did it, ask the Eskimos, they know all about this shit, and many Native Americans down to the plains also, the earth did shift. Maybe it was earthquake related, who knows. But things shifted. If you take a real good look at the sky every morning and every night, and you'll notice things are different. Stars are in a different part of the sky. The sun rises up in a different position and goes through its zenith and sets in a different position than where you might have remembered it several years ago. Things have changed with this planet. And the thing I don't like is that the government, people of authority, they treat us like fucking idiots. They don't tell us. Okay? They don't tell us anything. They don't want us to know anything. You know, they've even just given media permission to fake whatever they want to fake for a newscast. Even though they've been doing it for the government for years. You know, how much shit's been blue screened, you know? It's really unfortunate. But for the silent ones, the people who are of the earthen faith, whatever your policies may be, whether you want to talk about Druidics, which is Wiccans, what have you, the biggest challenge that I see today is that magical folks ain't necessarily being all that magical anymore. They're not. You know, oh, I can go to a store and buy a necklace or buy rings, or I can get my robe, buy that someplace. I can go to Pyramid Catalog, or at least you used to be able to, buy a staff, buy a wand, buy anything. There's always somebody out there willing to build anything for anybody if you got the scratch, okay? Bottom line. But how much magic do we really embrace ourselves with? How much magic do we really use? Okay? Somebody pisses you off. Do you use it? Probably not. You want love. Do you use it? Maybe. But, you know, the problem is the new bloods, whatever you want to call them. A number of years ago, I would just call them out and say, Wiccans did this! They are the new bloods. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to say, let's call them the moralists of the natural faiths, okay? The moralists created all kinds of sponge me not rules to control people and their behaviors. Like, for example, what's the one I always kept hearing idiots talking about? Oh, yeah, I remember this one. If you walk into, or if you drive into a parking lot, and if you see that there's no spaces, and you use magic to get a parking spot, well, then it's bad magic because you take that away from somebody else who probably need it. Meaning when you come back out of the store, you'll see somebody with no legs, you know. And that is true, it can happen. But that's the angle that they used, okay? Thou shalt not this, thou shalt not that. That's what I thought was wrong about what they did, you know. Don't use magic for this. Don't use magic for that. Always preying upon a witches or a Wiccans or whoever, preying upon the guilt factor. Well, if you do this, that might happen, and then it's going to be bing, 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 karma up your ass. And, you know, a lot of people would like, oh no, and so they don't do it. A lot of people who are magic users, or think they're magic users, or want to be magic users, don't be using it much, because it's been pounded into their psyche, thou shalt not use magic. Now, do I think it's good to use a love spell to get somebody? No. Why? Well, because anything that will force somebody to do something against their will could have a rebound factor. And you could come back and kick your fucking ass from here to the Azores, okay? Not good. And trust me, I know. Somebody who has a revolving door and a karma, yeah. But no, I've never done love spells. I've had people come to me and go, I want to get this person so bad, I want them. I love them with all my heart. But they're with this asshole, and I want her for myself. Or I want him for myself. And of course I give them the spiel. Well, you know, if you do that, and if it maybe works, you might have a problem. Oh, I don't care, I can do it, it's not going to happen. And then I'd be like, well, won't you do it for me? And I'd be like, no, I am not going to do that spell for you. No, I will not. I will tell you what you need to do, and you can do it, so that it's your karma. And then they'd take a shopping list and go off on their merry way. And I'd hear back from them later. Oh, I got the love of my life. And then I'd be like, cool, call me about 6 months, let me know how it's going. And of course I never hear from them again. Why? Because their love was so endearing? No. Because it blew up miserably in their face. That's why. Which meant they maybe learned a lesson. You don't force something. You don't force somebody to do something against their will. You know, kind of like Freebird. If it's really meant to be, set that fucker free, and maybe it'll come back to thee. Okay, it's just the way it is. But still, it's a thou shalt not. So, what makes a witch powerful? Is it because they know right from wrong? Yeah. Can they still do wrong? Of course. Can they still do good? Of course. So then, what's the fucking problem? Well, everything comes with a consequence. And the more powerful people are the ones who are able to govern themselves. Okay? That's where it's important. They have to govern themselves. You have to know the difference between right and wrong. It's called the Book of Life, okay? Do you kill? No. Why? Don't want to kill. Why don't you want to kill? Because I value freedom. I value being on the outside looking in, not on the inside being Bubba's bitch looking out. Okay. I love somebody, but I want them. That's nice. But you will only have that person if they love you back. You don't want anybody who doesn't love you back. If you force somebody against their will, ain't gonna last. Or the first person that comes up, and usually these people, like, you know, they always figure the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. Fair weather people, whatever you want to call them. A lot of people are like, oh my God, you know, he's so handsome. Oh, she's got a great stack on her chest. You know, very material perceptions on why they want to fall in love with somebody. They try to force that person. The person loves them for a time, but then all of a sudden, all the other wolves in the field will come in and sniff out that woman that you worked so hard to get, and she's going to stray, and she's going to get laid, not by you, and you're going to be hurting. That's why you only want love, okay? You want love that's true. You want love that's real. That's the kind of love you want. So you don't force it. You can cultivate it. You can win over a lover. But you don't force that shit. You force it. It's going to blow up in your face, literally. So you got to be careful with that. Another thing, too, that the moral majority, shall we say, within the craft I've seen pull, is there was this one stupid idiotic bitch who was going around telling people that, well, you don't want to do any kind of a goddess ritual. You don't want to do a drawing down the moon, because if you do a drawing down the moon, you're going to possess yourself with some entity that's proclaiming itself to be the goddess during your ritual, and therefore it could be demonic. Did you catch that? Okay? You don't do a drawing down the moon ritual because you might get yourself possessed with something other than the goddess energy, proclaiming yourself to be a goddess energy. Now, to some people, that makes a lot of sense. But to anybody who actually knows anything about the craft, knows anything about magic, knows anything about doing spell work, and working with spirits, including drawing down the moon, as it were, no. They know the difference between something that's bad and something that's supposed to be there. Okay? And Obviously, if you do it on your own, you got to be very careful. You got to know what you're working with. And of course, for the newbie who's an initiate, so we'd say, someone who's untrained, it would be dangerous for them to try to attempt such a ritual. But when this person was spreading this malarkey, they were trying to convert everybody in the craft to that new, asinine, idiotic, scatterbrained indoctrination of thou shalt not conjure, draw down something that may possess you, that may not be anything. In fact, this bitch didn't even care if it was the goddess that was possessing you. You just didn't do it because she said it was icky. So imagine how many people are out there in the craft, wicked aspect, shall we say, who, and believe it or not, there's quite a few of them out there. It's a growing number of, I call them wicknets. Sorry, forgive me. Personal word, make up my own. That's magical too, you know. Being creative. Who basically do very little magic. They're worshippers of the craft. That's what they do. They worship. They pray. Okay? Libations. Endowments. Imbuing oneself. But they do very little magic. Because if they do magic, then they're altering forces. They might change something in the world. And then karma, karma, karma. You know, like karma, 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 chameleon. That's what they're worried about. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid to take that chance. Now, sci-fi is pushing a program, The Magician or some shit like that. And they make an interesting comment, you know, magic is a drug. And it is. It's a very powerful drug. The occult, mysteries, the magic of the universe, of nature, is very alluring. It is the sexiest woman or man you have ever come across, who is enshrouded in a darkly beautiful, radiant flowing robe, and they only give you a slight glimpse of their face to lure you in, so that you will follow them to wherever. And it's a very attractive lure, okay? It's very alluring. And you take chances. That's how you learn. You learn from your burn if you're meant to be burned. That's what happens in magic. That's what happens in the craft. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. If it's meant for you, you're going to know. If it's going to destroy you or others around you, you're going to find that out too, without question. And the best way to maintain power is to be balanced, is to be brave, is to fear very little of what it is you're trying to engage in. Now, another problem in the craft is there aren't as many teachers as there should be. Oh, there's a lot of fly-by-night people. You know, a person cracks open a book at a Borders Books or something, or Amazon, and thinks they're an instant witch, like that. They read one paragraph. I'm a witch. I'm powerful. I know everything now. I'm a high priestess now. I'm a high priest. I can teach anybody. I can have my own coven. And people like that, years ago, I gave them a name. I refer to them as a bookcraft coven. That's a coven that basically materializes from a book. Somebody who has purchased a book. Somebody has read the book. Can't tell you how many books belonging to bookcraft covens, highlighted passages. Okay? And that's what they do. Skip the boring stuff. Just highlight the intriguing stuff. And abracadabra their ass all through it, chapter by chapter, playing witchy poo. I want to be a witch. Let me find something decent here. Here, I can play kitchen witch. Abracadabra, wishy poo, bing, bing, bing. And within a wizard's whiskers of time, get it? Wizard whisk of time, get it? they think that they have become immortal within their endowment of the craft. Truth of the matter is, they still don't really know shit. But they'll still do it anyway. Why? Because they don't listen to nobody. And they get out there and they learn and they burn. And there are people that they taught burn. And it either endures or it doesn't. And the people scatter like dandelion seeds in the wind. And even that's a learning experience. But that's the primary, thank you by the way, that's the primary essence though, regarding the people and the thou shalt not crowd, is to manipulate and control the people in it, not to do things. You know, one of the biggest hurdles, and a lot of people in the craft will deny this. I got into a lot of trouble when I surfaced with this information. That some of the early Wicnets, right from the 60s and stuff, pretty much what they did was, if you really look at how they went about things, they spent so much time trying to find acceptance within Christianity that, in a sense, they almost demoralized the craft by almost turning it into a Christian construct. You'd be surprised how many Christian witches are out there today. Quite a few. You'd be amazed. But the whole premise was, like, for example, getting rid of the word witchcraft and witch because it had a negative connotation. By doing that, they figured that the Christians would learn to love and trust us and would not regard us with fear. When all it really did was just make us more vulnerable to them. And the more information it gave them, the more contemptuous Christians became of witches, Wiccans, to the point that they wanted to then envelop a process of integration, absorbing, like the Borg, a simulation, and if not, then extermination, totally stomping out every last witch that could be found. And that's what Wicca, let's say it like it is, came pretty damn close to trying to do. When they went around at one point with the nonsense, strike the word witch, strike the word witchcraft, only use the word and concept of Wicca, and then everything will be cool with the Christians. They'll like us, they'll trust us. And the truth of the matter is, they hate us, they despise us. They don't care about us. Okay? And the only reason why they haven't been really more successful in trying to stomp us into the ground is because our numbers are uncertain. Look at how many idiots have tried to make it necessary so that every single witch or neo-pagan or what have you makes their presence known and gives accurate numbers, okay? The so-called Pagan League, or the Witches League, whatever they call themselves, wanted to come up with accurate counts so that we could probably show the world that, hey, there's like 12 million witches within the United States alone. We're thriving. But unfortunately, by doing that, you then become, well known, a demographic. And then people go, okay, well, this is the percentages of these people, this is where they primarily focus at, and this is the areas that we need to focus on so that we can get rid of them. That's how that works. But every time you get some newbie out there with some brand new idea, well, we don't need to learn anything. We'll just get all our information from books, or there doesn't need to be any instructional period or learning, curriculum. We'll just buy all the books. There should be no training. There should be no degrees in magic. All that information should be freely available to anybody, whether it be a 12-year-old or a 92-year-old. So that they can have all these books on their bookshelf and, oh, I feel like doing this one today. No formal training, no nothing, no balance, no morality, okay? When you do stuff like that, where's the respect factor? Nobody respects what they're learning. Nobody respects what they're doing. And that's when people get into trouble, okay? That's what you get. So there has to be discipline, even in the craft. Not the kind of discipline that these other idiots have been proposing to control everybody's behavior and thought processes. Okay? That's not necessary. To do that is to eradicate what was. Like, for example, when the Wiccans got rid of the Witch's Star and turned it into the Wiccan Star. That was a slap in the face to every single witch who had ever been charbroiled. Okay? The Star was most original with witches. The Wiccans are kind of like, newbies. And unfortunately, they felt that by taking control of like some of our most well-known sacred symbols, that they could control the beast. Kill the beast, take it over. But that's why they're new bloods, and the rest of us are old bloods. Okay? That's the difference between us two. So, there is meant to be some measure of discipline. There are meant to be instructors. There are meant to be people who teach the craft on a moral level, on a magical level, on a serious and disciplined level, so that people know the difference between good magic and bad magic. So that hopefully it is that knowing of right and wrong that will depict which side they will go with, instead of just having a blanketed statement that says, "Thou shalt not do nothing." So, getting back to what I was originally saying, more people that are into magic need to do more magic. They need to feel it deep inside. They need to know it inside and out. They need to possess the strength within themselves and learn how to cast it with focus, so that they become one with the emerging energies as it flows out through the ebb and flow of time, space, and matter, and acquires and hopefully achieves its objective. That's what needs to be done. If more people used that magic for something positive, a lot of what's going on in this world today could be altered, could be stopped. Wars could be influenced. The pollution of this world could be influenced. The asinine fucking behavior of selfish ingrates could be influenced. But nobody has the balls. Nobody has the nerve. Many magic users are intimidated. They're afraid to use it. They're afraid to be responsible for what they do. But that's not a way to live. If you can't do that, if you can't embrace discipline within the craft, if you can't learn to control yourself in what you do, not do things, but control why you do things and how you do things positively, then don't be a witch. Just be pagan worshiper of the deities. But don't don a robe. Don't call yourself a high anything. Don't wand. Don't staff. Don't collect stones. Don't cast in sand. Don't whisper to frogs. Don't even murmur to the trees. Don't do any of that. if you're not going to implement some self-discipline within yourself. Because if you can't, then all you're going to do is become and create chaos, uncontrollable chaos, where then the innocent and the weak all may suffer. I'll then hunt you down and put you on a stake. It's happened for less. And people have been burned for less. I don't think the craft is ever anybody's fool or sucker. Not by a long shot. It was here before you, and it'll be here long after your bones have turned to ashes and dust, and you have returned to the great macrocosm and microcosm of existence. But if you want to share in that ride while you're still here, then wake up. Listen to what I'm saying. And make a difference. Make a difference within yourself to perhaps make a difference in this world. Don't try to be some badass motherfucker. The world's full of those. Way filled with those. The world needs warriors, peace, love, healers, nurturers, teachers. And so ask yourself, which are you? Blessed be.